Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who taught us his truth and who rule well. Peace, love, salutations, and mercy be unto the hopeful elect. The water Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, for putting it within our spirit, to do these lessons and to edify the hopeful elect with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that can help build their faith as well as build ours, because it's through the word and the wisdom of the scriptures that increases our faith. As it is written within the scriptures, our faith comes by the hearing, and hearing by in the hearing of the word of Yahweh. So that's how our faith is increased, by hearing these words of the scriptures and reading these words of the scriptures. And to quote that scripture once again, that's Romans 10:17. So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh. And what does the word of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, do unto us? Establishes us. It makes us stable, so that when sudden changes come and they happen, we are ahead of the curve. We understand that these things are coming. All right. We know by way of prophecy what to look for. And when we see the things that we are looking for, what time we are in. And we are in the time of prophetic things happening, such as the implementation of the mark of the beast worldwide. And we understand that's the reason that they're pushing the CVIT 1984 and doing away with cash, and making it to where, cash is looked at as being filthy. This is the reason that they're putting up, the 5G, because 5G is going to help within this new digital dollar system, or this digital currency system that they're getting ready to implement. All right, the CVIT 1984 is just to take the people's mind off the fact that the dollar bill is collapsing. And we're getting ready and have already experienced things that are game changing. And we're about to experience even further things, which is going to be very troublesome for us to endure. But within those times, you have to be established. You have to be stable. You have to be unmovable. You can't be within the spirit of fear. All right. Although when these things happen all so suddenly, they are things that will make you afraid. But then when you reflect upon the scriptures, then you understand this is what the scriptures say. You understand that Yahweh is in charge. You understand that this is his will. This is, the things that he spoke of, that he had put in the mouth of the prophets to write down, and have put in the mouth of the prophets of these days to expound upon, so that you can have understanding, so that you can have faith. And when you have understanding, then you're like a piece of wood or a piece of timber that is dirt and bound together in the building. And that piece of timber, it doesn't move, or it doesn't shake, or it isn't loosed out of its place. And that's how you are when you're established with advised counsel. And what is our advised counsel? Our advised counsel is the scriptures. Sirach, the 22nd chapter, verse 16, it says, as timber, dirt, and bound together in a building cannot be loose with shaking, so the heart that established by advised counsel shall fear at no time. So if you know what's going to happen before it happens, when it does happen, then you're not afraid of it the way that other people would be afraid of it, as it states within the scriptures. All right, I'm going to go over to the book of Luke. And this is going to be Luke, the 21st chapter, and around the 24th or 25th verse. Let's see. This is Luke 21 and 25. It says, and there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the seas and the waves roaring. Now, what does the word distress mean? All right. You take the word "this" out of there, and you read the deal with the word "stress." You understand what stress is. All right, it's something that's hard to bear, something that's hard to deal with, that causes extreme anxiety. You know, it causes sorrow, it causes pain. You know, it causes someone to feel as if their mind is being torn apart or torn into pieces. And these are the things that are coming upon the earth that we are enduring at this present time, that's causing people to be within a sense of depression. You know, nations are being torn apart, families are being torn apart, friends are being torn apart. You know, and there's a state of perplexity, you know, a state of confusion, because the mass majority of people, they're not established. They don't understand what's going on in the world. So therefore, they're perplexed. And the word perplexed means to be completely baffled. All right, to be very puzzled, to be confused and not know what the hell is going on. But we know what is going on in the world. Why? Because we are established in the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Like it says within the book of Isaiah, all right, the 33rd chapter in verse 6. All right, this is the famous scripture, right? Salakia, bear with me. Isaiah, the 33rd chapter, verse 6, which reads, it says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure." Now, there's another translation I like to read this in, and this is the BBE translation. All right. The BBE is the Bible in Basic English. All right. So when you read this particular version, you will come across the word "she." All right. Based upon the way that they wrote it, if you read the previous verse, you will understand that she is speaking about Zion. You know, and Zion is a people before it is a place. So dealing with the elect, all right, the church being the she, and she will have no more fear of change, being full of salvation, wisdom, and knowledge. All right, the fear of Yahweh is her wealth. So being established with salvation, wisdom, and knowledge, all right, which the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding comes by way of the Holy Spirit, which allows you to understand the scriptures, all right, when they're being broken down to you. All right, that wisdom and knowledge will make it to where you're not afraid of the sudden changes that happen when they happen, because being established upon wisdom and knowledge, all right, you have a good deal of understanding of what's going on. So to grab the definition of the word "established" within the online etymology, the definition of the word "established," all right, reads, and Salakia, I might have to go to "establish," and the word "establish" should lead me to the word "stable." Now, when you go to the word "stable," all right, because that's what "established" means, to be stable, trustworthy, reliable, constant, steadfast, virtuous. All right, I want to deal with the word "constant," and I want to deal with the word "virtuous." I mean the word steadfast. The word "constant," that's where you get the word "constancy" from. And the word "constancy" means the quality of being dependable and unchangeable. So if you're unchangeable, that means that you are unchanging. That means that you're not going to be moved. And moved with what? Moved with fear. And why aren't you moved with fear? Because you are established in faith through wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So going back to Sirach, the 22nd chapter, and reading on from verse 17 on down, it says, "A heart settled upon the thought of understanding is as a fair plastering on the wall of a gallery." A fair plastering, a plaster upon the wall of a gallery will not be moved, even if there's a slight tremor, even if someone comes and bumps it. All right, it's going to stay and remain in the same place. But someone that is fearful, they're likened unto pales set on a high place. All right, which those pales that are set upon the high place, it can never withstand the wind, a gust of wind that comes by and blows it away. Why? Because it's not secure. Reading Ecclesiasticus 22 or Sirach 22, it says, "Pale set on the high place will never stand against the wind. So a fearful heart and the imagination of a fool cannot stand against any fear." So in the time that's coming, you're going to have men and women, all right, who are not established in advised counsel, who do not have the faith, that are going to be in a state of perplexity. They're going to be perplexed. They're going to be confused. All right, their hearts are going to fail them. All right, they're going to have heart attacks. All right, they're going to drop dead for fear. And the opposite of fear is faith. So therefore, it is faith, all right, that you have through the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures that keeps you stable. Going back to Luke, the 21st chapter, verse 26, it says, "Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken." So race riots, instability, chaos, famines, mass death. These are the things that are coming. And also what is coming is an attack on the men of the Lord, on the Israelites, all right, on, the ones that are preaching the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and the believers. Those that fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai will have an attack on them. And that's the reason why it is a good thing to have big faith, all right, because it's going to be through your faith that keeps you unmovable. Going over to the book of Corinthians, all right, this is 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and the last verse. It says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of Yahweh, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain." And the scripture says that Yahweh will not forget your labor of love. When you go into such scriptures, like the scripture of Hebrews, the 6th chapter, verse 10, it says, "For Yahweh is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have shewed towards his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister." So those of you that are doing the work, that are edifying the flock, all right, the men of you, and that are teaching, all right, and that are trying to bring believers into the faith of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, all right, we're going to be the ones, all right, that come under attack, from, Esau, Edom. All right, the men of the Lord are going to have an insurrection, all right, brought up against them, and charges brought up against them. They're going to be demonized. All right, they're going to be falsely accused. All right, for being the ones that are speaking out against Esau, Edom, and teaching the truth, but be unmovable within that time. Because if you're unmovable and you are steadfast, all right, and you are always abounding within the faith and within the word, then Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has a reward in store for you. And to get the word for steadfast, all right, that word there is
Strong's G 1476, Hydraios.
Hydraios. And it says sitting, sedentary, Salakia, firm, immovable, steadfast. And to also grab the word for unmovable. The word there is Emmy, I'm gonna let Esau say it.
Strong's G 277. Ametakinitas.
Ametakinitas. And it says, not to be moved from its place, unmoved, firmly persistent. And what's going to keep you firm? It's going to be your faith. All right, which the opposite of faith is what? The opposite of faith is fear. All right, the book of Colossians, the first chapter, in the 23rd and 24th verse, which reads, it says, if ye continue in the faith, grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel, which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature, all right, which is under heaven, whereof I Paul am made a minister, who now rejoice in my sufferings for you, and fill up that which is behind of the afflictions of Mashiach in my flesh, for his body's sake, which is the church. So, no matter what happens and is going to happen, continue in the faith, all right, being grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope in the gospel. Especially you that are in in positions to be examples, all right, to those that have lesser faith. All right, having to fill up those measures of Yahushua that is left behind in the flesh are the certain persecutions and things that we're going to have to go through, even being thrown in jail and even being possibly put to death for our faith. All right, be faithful unto the end, man. All right, because you never know who you're being an example to. All right, an example of faith too. So therefore, it is important for you to be unmovable. Because through your faith and standing strong in your faith, you will make others' faith more solid. Seeing you go through the things that you went through and how Yahushua delivered you out of it. All right, by you maintaining a healthy level and a high level, a great level of integrity. And through having big faith. 1 Thessalonians 3:1. Wherefore, when we could no longer forbear, we thought it good to be left at Athens alone, and sent Timotheus, our brother and minister of Yahweh, and our fellow laborer in the gospel of Mashiach, to establish you and to comfort you concerning your faith. All right, so to establish you, to speak unto you words, all right, that will help build up your faith. That no man should be moved by these afflictions, for yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. So we are appointed, as it is said within the scriptures, all the day long are we killed. We are like sheep led into the slaughter. And also it says that through great tribulation we shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. So it is set up for us to fill up those measures that are left behind in Yahushua, and to endure much suffering. And to go through things that are fearful, but to maintain the same level of integrity or a higher level of integrity as we're going through those things, being unmovable as we go through them, knowing the latter end, knowing the benefits of staying firm, staying steadfast, being unmovable, being established by the word of Yahweh. We will get the crown, we will get the victory. All right, if we continue in the commandments of Yahweh and in the faith of Yahushua, we will overcome and we will inherit great blessings. So the thing is, although you're getting ready to see and experience many things, not to be moved by the afflictions. And when you go into the word move, the word there for move is sano. And it means to wag the tail of dogs, metaphor of flatter fawn, upon to be moved, the mind of one, to agitate, disturb, to trouble. So through the trouble that you're getting ready to, see or experience, all right, not to be moved by it. And in another sense, Salakia, it means to quake with fear. All right, to agitate, disturb. Let me see. Maybe there's a root word. Salakia, bear with me. Yep, the root word of that is Salakia, let Esau say it.
Strong's G 4579, Sayo.
Sayo, which means to shake, to agitate, to cause to tremble. Of men to be thrown into a tremor, to quake for fear. Metaphor to agitate the mind. So there's going to be things that happen. All right, whether you go through it or you see someone else go through it, through these times of tribulation, these perilous times, that is going to agitate the mind. That is going to make the average person tremble and to shake with fear, to quake with fear. All right, that causes you to become highly afraid. You become highly afraid, you begin to shake. All right, reading on, it says, for verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and ye know. So we know that we're getting ready to go through certain things, but we know, all right, who is in control at the end. We know who has the sway over all things. We know that we serve Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, that even if we had to go through something severe as of going through death, that our power can raise us from the dead. So that right there gives you a level of confidence. All right, understanding the outcome, you know, of what's written within the scriptures, and that we get the victory at the end, that gives you a level of confidence. Understanding that you have a power so near unto you through his son Yahweh Shai that you can pray unto in the name of his son Yahweh Shai, and he can deliver you from any cause or circumstance. That should give you a level of confidence. For this cause, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your faith, lest by some means the tempter have tempted you, and our labor be in vain. You know, because you will have some that are moved from the faith because they're not grounded. They're not steadfast. But fear will seep in, and it will enter into them, and it will cause them to not believe anymore. But you can't be that person. You have to be unmovable, man. And therefore, what will keep you unmovable would be to take heed to the words of Yahweh Shai, to take heed to prophecy, and to be always occupied in the meditation thereof. You know, the scriptures say within the book of Sirach, all right, the 39th verse, the 39th chapter, Salakia, all right, beginning at the first verse, and it reads, it says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of Yahweh is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients and be occupied in prophecy. If you're occupied in prophecy, you're watching as well as praying. So those things that come upon the earth cannot take you in unawares as they would take others. So therefore, having a heads up and knowing that these things are coming, all right, you have an advantage. All right, you have confidence. Going over to the book of Luke, all right, the 6th chapter, in dealing with the 47th verse. It says, whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sins and doeth them, I will show you unto whom he is like. He is like a man which built a house and dig deep and laid a foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose and the stream beat vehemently upon the house and could not shake it, for it was founded upon the rock. So whosoever take heed to the words of Yahweh Shai and the words of these scriptures will be like unto one who laid their foundation, all right, upon a rock. So when the tribulation, when Esau comes in like a flood, all right, happens, all right, you would not be shaken. You would not be thrown down by those situations because you understand it by way of the word that these things were coming anyway. So therefore, you're secure, you're steadfast, you're stable, you're established. But someone that doesn't take heed to these words, all right, this is what they're likening it to. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of the house was great. So there's going to be a lot of people that are ruined, all right, because their mind is not on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, but their mind is in this world. So when these things of the world begin to change and their life crumble before their very eyes, they're going to crumble as well. They're going to be overthrown as well. All right, but you have to have mental fortitude, and what teaches you or helps your mental fortitude is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. And in the time of trouble, if you have mental fortitude, if you have bravery, then you will be a hell of an example to others that are looking towards you. All right, as an example of faith, and as an example of someone that has loyalty to faith and piety, and are not swerved from their deliberate purpose. And such an example can be found within, one of the patriarchs of our nation, that being, I believe this is Elias, a man within 2nd Maccabees, the 6th chapter, which I'm going to go to 2nd Maccabees 6 and 27. And just to Eleazar, that was his name. It says, wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will shew myself such an one as mine age requireth. All right, because this man was compelled to eat swine's flesh, which is contrary to the law. And when he would not eat swine's flesh, they said, okay, well, look, just make it look like you're appearing to eat swine's flesh. You can just bring your own flesh. But he said, no, I will not even do that. So what they did was they began to beat him and torment him. All right, and to torture him. And instead of being delivered, from the death by way of making it look like he's eating pork, he would rather to die than to stain his integrity and to leave behind an example for the young men and the people of his nation to follow, and to give in unto the heathen and to be destroyed ultimately by Yahweh. Because our fear isn't towards him that is able to kill the flesh and afterwards have no power to destroy the soul, but our fear is after Yahweh, all right, who is able to destroy both the soul and the body in the fire. So now reading along, it says, and leave a notable example to such as be young, to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. They that led him, changing the good will, they bare him a little before into hatred, because the foresaid speech proceeded, as they thought, from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto Yahweh that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten, but in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him. And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation. So the word virtue also goes into knowledge. And what keeps you stable? Knowledge and wisdom. All right, and through knowledge and wisdom of the scriptures, our faith is increased. So the times are coming where Esau is going to try to make us apostatize from our faith and our belief, from our religion, all right, from being followers of the church of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. But the scripture says, all right, he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. And what do you endure in? You're enduring your faith. It's through your faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai that you're going to overcome Esau, Edom, that you're going to overcome this world, that you're going to overcome the beast. 1 John 5 and 4, for whatsoever is born of Yahweh overcometh the world. And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. Who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Yahushua is the Son of the Most High? Another scripture, the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, in the 11th verse. It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. They loved not their lives unto death. So that means for this faith, you'll be willing to go even to the brink of death to prove how faithful you are to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Because we are in the time that our faith is going to be tried. And the scripture says that the trial of your faith worketh what? The trial of your faith worketh patience. All right. 1 Peter 1:7. That the trial of your faith being much more precious than that of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua Mashiach. So we have to go through this time period. All right, the trial of our faith. So that going through the furnace, we can appear glorious. We can appear righteous. All right, we can be cleansed. We can be purged of all of the impurities. All right, because to suffer and to be purged is a good thing. But going on over to the book of Revelations, the 14th chapter, in the 12th verse, it says, here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandment of Yahweh and the faith of Yahushai. So, keeping the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahushai is how you're going to overcome. And if you do so, all right, you will endure the suffering, because the word patience means to suffer. In the Greek, the word there is hupomene, and it means steadfastness, constancy, endurance. In the New Testament, characteristics of a man who is not swerved from his deliberate purpose and his loyalty to faith and piety by even the greatest trials of suffering. All right, it means to persevere. So no matter what you go through, all right, the trials and sufferings, you're going to remain loyal, all right, to your faith and to your piety, to your beliefs. You're not going to apostatize. You're not going to give up on what you believe in. You're not going to swerve to the left. You're not going to swerve to the right. You're not going to be so easily shaken. And through that faith and belief, all right, and enduring unto the end, all right, you're going to overcome. And that's what is going to get you the crown. That's what is going to get you the kingdom, man. Revelations 3:21, to him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I am overcome and set down with my Father in his throne. Now, how did Yahushua overcome? All right, he went through the sufferings that was set up for him to go through, and he finished his course. So we have to go through the sufferings that are prepared for us and finish our course and have the same level of faith that Yahushua has taught us to have, so that we can obtain, all right, that which is precious, the kingdom of heaven. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. Until the next time, a shalom.